You're listening to In Session, where marriage and family therapist Mark Ponce sits down with your therapist and other therapists in the community to ask them who they are, why they do the work, and what keeps them coming back. Whether you're in therapy, looking to start your therapeutic journey, or just wanting to learn more, this is the show for you. Thank you for being here. Please enjoy today's episode.
Welcome to the very first episode of In Session, a podcast where I sit down with your therapist and other therapists in the community to have real human conversations. I'm Mark Ponce, an Asian American marriage and family therapist in Seattle, Washington, and your host. I created this podcast because a reason that I've heard way too often that keeps people from seeking out therapy or even staying in it is that they have no idea who their therapist is, and online bios and pictures aren't sufficient enough to get to know therapists on a human level. So this podcast is here to help you get to know your therapist better. And it's also to help those people who are on the fence about therapy feel more confident in starting the process. I also wanted to be able to highlight all the wonderful therapists that I've met. And I think that too often the therapists who we're connected to through media are the real famous ones, or the ones who have published books, all of who are fantastic resources, but the therapists in our communities get little shine, although those are the ones who may be more accessible for most folks. So this podcast is in place for local therapists to step into the spotlight and share their views on this work and what keeps them coming back. I hope that you find some value in these conversations and learn just a little bit about yourself too, whether you're a client in progress, or even a clinician just looking to learn from others and grow your own practice. This podcast is in no way a replacement for formal therapy, but rather just a chance for you to be exposed to the humans behind the practice and feel more connected to them. This is truly a passion project for me. It's something that I find important, really important to contributing to decreasing the stigma around mental health service for our community members. It's also a way for me to grow in my relationships with other providers and continue to build my own practice so that I could be with my clients in a fuller and more human way. I really want this podcast to grow to be a reliable resource. So please feel free to reach out to me with any of your feedback that you might have after my episodes, topics you'd like me to cover, or questions you'd like me to ask my guests. My social media accounts and email address will be linked into the show notes for every episode, and I really look forward to being able to hear your feedback, make this podcast one that you can come back to every other week, and leave knowing just a little bit more about providers in your community or your own therapist. If you're another therapist out there listening to this and wanting to be featured on the show, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me through DM or through email, and we can meet and we can try to make something happen. I'd love to have you on. My first episode coming up, it features a very close friend of mine and a wonderful therapist who is based out of Spokane, Washington. We went to school together and trained together, and I had him on because I felt real nervous about this first interview, and he tends to disarm me very well. So together we talk about his journey into becoming a therapist. We talk about resiliency and how to cope with your mind telling you to quit when life becomes challenging. I know that feeling too well, and he even shares messages to any other clinicians who might be listening who struggle with the emotional weight of the job. So I'm really excited for you to listen to that. Thank you so much for tuning into this mini episode and giving my podcast a chance. I hope you enjoy.